الآن يمكنكم المشاركة في مبادرة الأيام الرقمية تحت شعار انطلق بقوة مع جوجل، والتي يتناول فيها خبراء جوجل عناوين جديدة أسبوعيا مثل السحابيات، مهارات من جوجل، أندرويد، فلتر، ذكاء الآلة، فايربيس، ديزاين ثينكينج، مقسمة إلى دورات وورشات عمل يومية بالإضافة إلى مسابقات أسبوعية. شاهد الأيام الرقمية مباشرة على اليوتيوب وشارك رأيك وأسئلتك مع خبراء جوجل، واحصل على شهادة حضور في كل محاضرة تشترك فيها. هذا وأكثر من الأحد إلى الخميس ابتداء من الساعة 9 بتوقيت دبي عبر الرابط المبين youtube.com/gdgmina.
Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us tonight, this evening, for our GDSC Oman Days, discussing how GDSC and tech communities contribute to Oman 2040 vision. I am Ariel Arango, today's moderator in the panel session, as well as a speaker, Women Tech Maker Sahar Ambassador, and the previous lead and now mentor for GDSC Sahar University. I would like to welcome our GDSC lead first to introduce herself to the audience. Maram.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you, Ariel, for being here with us. As she already mentioned, my name is Maram Al Sheikh, and I am the current GDSC lead at Sahar University, and I am on my 4th year studying IT web engineering. Mr. Othman, would you like to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum, good evening. My name is Uthman Al-Mandari. I am a co-founder and the CEO at Inotech, a 3D printing startup in Oman. I am a mechatronics engineer and glad to be here tonight.
Thank you so much, both of you, for being here with us today. And thank you, Mr. Othman, for joining us on such short notice as well. So first of all, I would like to introduce our topic in general and how we're going to walk through our session today. So we will be discussing how GDSC Oman and the communities, tech communities, and so on around it are contributing to Oman Vision 2040. So we have right here with us a student, a GDSC lead, and someone who is already in the industry and one of the most well-known companies around startups in Oman as well. So first of all, I'd like to give you a general definition of what Oman Vision 2040 is. So, according to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, the vision focuses on reshaping the roles of and relation between the public, private, and civil sectors to ensure effective economic management, achieve a developed, diversified, and sustainable national economy, ensuring fair distribution of development gains among governorates, and protect the nation's natural resources and unique development. So, what does that all mean? Oman Vision 2040 has very specific national priorities, 12 of them to be exact. Some of those including health, education and learning, scientific and research capabilities, well-being, social protection, labor and market, and so on. So today we're going to focus on how GDSC as a community and the companies around it are also contributing to this goal towards the future. So before that, I'd like to give a brief introduction of GDSC Oman through our lead. Maram, could you please introduce briefly to those who don't yet know what GDSC is and what we do here in GDSC Sohar University?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so basically, GDSC stands for Google Developer Student Clubs, and it's actually an international club that's going on, or a community that's going on. There are many different chapters around the world. For example, in Oman, we have 4 chapters, and each chapter is represented by each lead in a certain university. So, for example, I'm coming from Soha University. As a lead, I try as much as I can to provide sessions to my colleagues to inform them about the new technologies, about to make them be aware about tech in general. And if they have anything in specific they need, I can somehow provide sessions to like give them some knowledge. So yeah, mainly it's a training done by students to students.
Thank you, Maram. Thank you for introducing GDSC. So, what we do here in GDSC Oman is training by the students for the students to encourage everyone to join the tech community as early as now. Um, moving from GDSC Oman, Mr. Othman, would you please like to introduce your company, Innotech, and what you do to the audience? Mr. Othman,
Yes,
yes.
so we started Innotek back in 2013. We started it for a reason, because back then there was no additive manufacturing businesses at all in Oman, and we decided to be the first. So we started with a really small 3D printer back in the university. It was in Sultan Qaboos University, the College of Engineering. And then we started scaling the business. 2017, we decided to expand. So we received our first fund from a VC, a local venture capital. And then in 2020, we received another round of investment. So we gathered a total of 350,000 US dollars funding. So right now, what we do is we do anything related to 3D printing. So for medical supplies, industrial areas, education, and we recently added concrete 3D printing as a new service. We're working for mostly oil and gas universities.
That is truly incredible what you're doing. It's one of the most revolutionary discoveries in technology, which is 3D printing. Thank you so much for sharing what you do. So let's deep dive a bit into the conversation of how your communities, how your companies contribute to Oman Vision 2040, as we've discussed earlier. So Maram, from what we've discussed, what Oman Vision 2040 is, how do you think the club is contributing to this, at least from the experiences you've had as a lead, as a member, and as part of the community in general?
Okay, so let me mention one of the, let's say, linking points to what the GDSC has or provides to what Vision 2040 aims to do. So we have something called the Solution Challenge. And to be honest, I read that from an article that they're trying to use the 17 UN SDGs for the Vision 2040 in Oman. And I'm not sure if anyone knows that, but we have something annual that goes on for GDSC members, which is the Solution Challenge, which has its main aim or goal, let's say, to use one or more one of the 17 SDGs, and to improve maybe the community around us, or to improve the world somehow, So actually, when I saw that and when I read about it, I was like, wow, we're already working on projects that are international, they're not even national or local. So thinking about it, I'm just like, okay, being part of GTSC made me realize that we already know the basics of what's already going to happen in 18 years, So I really was so happy, and I was so proud that I already got the chance to at least know a glimpse of what the SDGs are, because not everyone is aware that there are 17 SDGs, and it's an international crisis that we're talking about, So yeah, that's the main thing that really caught my eye.
That's true, actually. One of the national priorities that Oman Vision 2040 has is education, learning, scientific research, and national capabilities. And a lot of that revolves around the Sustainable Development Goals of UN. So I'm really happy you brought it up because it's something that the Google Developer Student Club community really did well on bringing that up during, I think, 2020. That was the second year that GDSC was established here in the MENA region. So, working towards those sustainable development goals that are in line with our own country's vision is really incredible to see. These students participating from different countries and collaborating together and creating these different types of technologies, like you said. It's really interesting what they can come up with, no? Uh, so thank you, Madam, for sharing your insight. Mr. Othman, I'd like to turn the question back to you. What do you think Innotech as a company contributes to Oman Vision 2040?
Okay, so the way we think of it is that we contribute in let's say, teaching or upskilling the fresh graduates, basically in the engineering, in the IT, in the science sectors. So we hire fresh graduates, we get them into our internship program, a 6 months intensive program, and then they become productive engineers for such a high technology. This contributes to the vision by exporting technology to nearby countries and increasing the GDP of the country. So far, Oman is still relying mostly on oil and gas by exporting other things like mining is a good sector as well. But when it comes to IT, when it comes to fourth industrial revolution, we are still importing the majority of these technologies, and the percentage wise is 98% import versus export 2%. So it is something we need to work on. So we contribute by investing in our local talents, upskilling them, inventing new technologies, especially in concrete 3D printing, and then exporting this to make an income for the country, which is contributing to the GDP.
Wow, it is truly incredible what you guys are doing at Innotech. And leading the, as you've mentioned, the fourth industrial revolution and increasing the GDP is one of the main goals of Oman Vision 2040, isn't it? And I'm really glad that you've brought that and pointed it out with the Oman still a bit reliant on importing that kind of resources, right? But it's incredible that your company is focusing on developing youth talent as well, because I believe that's also the vision that Man is going towards to, is empowering our youth, especially with the numerous incubators going out and supporting the startup businesses of young Omanis and young entrepreneurs here in Oman. So thank you both for sharing how each of your communities and uh, companies contribute to our vision in Oman 2040. So let's go further, a bit away from the technical side of things and get a little personal for those who are interested in hearing your stories and how you came to be in the position where you are today. So both of you are leaders in your own rights, and both of you have a group of people who are working together towards the same goal. Mr. Osman, would you like to share of your achievements and your story and how you've personally come to this point in your life, being the co-founder of Enotech, being the CEO, as well as receiving, I believe, the Best Entrepreneur Award in 2017 in Oman. So we would really love to hear what your point of view.
Yeah, so I remember when we started as entrepreneurs in 2013, there was this question. So back then, we did not have the public authority for small and business enterprises development. Back then, we did not have anything related to entrepreneurship as a country. So the country was not focused on entrepreneurship, on SMEs, or on startups at all. So the first few years were quite difficult. And then in 2015, the country announced the new vision for entrepreneurship, for investment in SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and startups. So it got better, but it was until Oman's Vision 2040 when His Majesty announced that SMEs are a critical part of our vision, especially when it comes to employing new talents. Like the government cannot employ that much of people in the next 20 years. The private sector is same. So SMEs is the answer, because that's what happened in many countries. Like for example, today, if we speak about the UK, more than 50% of jobs are provided by the SMEs, small and medium enterprises. In some countries, it is up to 80%. So SMEs are really critical, but here in Oman, they were not the focus for many reasons. And now the government started to focus on them. So to do so, the entrepreneurial culture is not there yet. Like most graduates, they just think of getting a job. It's difficult to find someone who graduates and thinks of starting his own business and making a startup or an SME. So we started, I was a part of developing the curriculum, both for school students and for some universities, to teach them the basics on how to start your business, how to learn the basics of finance, accounting, marketing, and the ABCs of making a business. I think it will take time, but I'm positive on the next few years. I think we'll start to see some results on new Omani startups, developing the technology, exporting technology, and hiring local talents.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It really is inspiring to see how you've come from the ground up, especially at a time where uh, it hasn't even begun starting with SMEs, as you've mentioned. I'd like to ask, what were the main uh, challenges, main issues that you've faced when you just started Innotech?
So funding was one of the biggest challenges because, again, back then we did not have local venture capitals or VCs. So, and it was difficult to get a loan from a bank because, again, you are a risky startup. So that was a really difficult thing until 2017. The government announced the first VC, or the first venture capital in the country, which fund. So they'll give you $100,000 for 10% of your business equity, and that was the first ever funding for startups in Oman. So things got better slowly, and now we have like three VCs right now in Oman. So funding was a challenge. Another challenge is there's this trust issue. So most companies, most corporates, and the government, they don't have this trust in local technology providers. They prefer to import it from Europe, the US, or East Asia. So
Mr. Uthman? Okay, I believe there are some technical difficulties over in Mr. Uthman's side. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Uthman. You're currently muted. If you would like to continue your train of thought.
yeah, if you want to
Yes.
add more challenges, I think hiring is a challenge. When we hire talents, we compete with. So if there is a fresh graduate, he has an option to work with us as a startup or to work in a large oil and gas corporate. That is a difficult debate, so we have to fight for that. So hiring is a challenge as well.
It
I think
is
these three
indeed.
challenges
Yes.
are the main challenges we have.
Yes, I believe so. I think that's one of the three of the main challenges that startups would get into whenever you try to build something from the ground up. So thank you, Mr. Othman, for sharing your challenges. Later on, if we have time, we if we can hear you how you overcame these challenges and discuss it with our audience. For now, we'll move on to Madam, and I'd like to ask you the same question, but a little bit different, I guess. Knowing how you got started as a GDSC Sohar University lead, I'd like to for you to focus, I guess, on sharing with the audience your experience as a GDSC lead. How has it helped you grown, and how do you think these skills that you've acquired from this experience will help you in the future as someone who will build their careers here in Oman or outside?
Actually, that's such a precise question, and thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, to be honest, let me start with what my position helped me with. Let's talk about the personality. So I've been more confident because being a speaker in front of people, whether it's online or offline, believe me, it's so stressful. And I'm not gonna lie, I was so stressed like before the session because it's been like a 2 month break since I had a session like the last time I had a session. I can't even form up sentences properly. But anyway, so yeah, let me say that this is nothing in comparison to what or how I used to talk back then, like before I was a lead. I used to be so nervous and so shy. I couldn't even speak up about my thoughts. Other than that, I would say that I have noticed, or my colleagues as well, when I've done some collaborations with my friends in other chapters, they told me that I'm somehow good at management, like data management. So when they like spot the light on that, I tried to improve that even more because I thought it was a normal habit, that I am organized, I have information in front of me, I can't have stuff all over the place. So when they told me that, they somehow spot the light on something I never knew was a thing. So I believe that building your network and getting to work with them will make you see many things you like never really thought that there were something, like confidence. And I would also like to tell you guys, as it's in the comments right now, the GDSC lead application is open. So I would really suggest you guys to sign up. And even if you were nervous, believe me, I was nervous, but I had to get out of my comfort zone and face all the stress and, the trauma and everything, and just be part of such an incredible community. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, a year passed by without even like feeling, So yeah, it was just amazing, to be honest, to be part of it. And I'm sure from day one you're gonna love it because you're gonna meet a lot of people that are gonna make you love your position even more, like other leads with other passion. Sometimes you might feel it's like a competition, but like in a positive way. Like, I'm not sure if that even makes sense, but it's so fun, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, knowing, like, let's not talk about technical sessions. Like, when you just want to have let's say a sit down talk, you just know more about their culture, how their country is like, about their language, their food. It's just amazing. It's not boring, I promise.
Thank you, Madam, for sharing your experiences. I, as your mentor in GDSC Sahara University, it's really amazing how far you've taken the club, and I'm so proud of you. thank you for such an amazing year with GDSC. Everyone who would love to have this kind of experience that Maram has just mentioned, our GDSC lead application is open, like we've mentioned. You can just go to goo.gle/GDSC and you can apply to be a GDSC lead or start a GDSC in your community. So, thank you so much, both of you, for such a wonderful conversation and for being such inspirations to everyone here, especially the youth in our community. So I'd like to open up our ending part of the session, which is the future goals that you'd have as an individual and with your communities that you are part of, or with your company that you're a part of. Uh, how does this um, how is this in context of Oman Vision 2040? How does that uh, line up with your personal and professional goals? So, Mr. Othman, if you'd like to get us started on that.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again? I didn't get it completely.
Sure, no problem. What are the future goals of Innotech, and how does it line up with Oman Vision 2040?
Perfect. So our vision when we started Innotek is to make use of the local talents, upskill them, and export technology to the first world. And the reason for this vision is to, let's say, break the ice, because there's this mentality among the young Omanis that we import technology. We have never exported technology. We cannot do that. It's something too late for us. So we want to break the ice. We want to be the first, and we are getting close to that. And the reason behind this is that once we break that ice, once we prove to people that we can innovate in technology, we can export this technology worldwide, then I believe we'll have more and more people investing in startups. And this is aligned, by the way, to Oman's Vision 2040. So the vision states that we need to invest in our human capitals, we need to invest in our skills, local talents, we need to train them, put them in the path for innovation, and work in the gig economy as well. We have talented people, so we invested heavily. The universities, the local universities, the scholarships. So the government invested heavily in the young Omanis, and we need to make use of these talented people using the gig economy, which is freelancing, and startups. This is a very good way of making sure that our return of investment on those people is as fast as possible and as high as we can.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Othman, for sharing the future goals of Innotech. It's really inspiring again, and for Innotech to be the first to break the ice, as well as you mentioned, going into this new world for Oman, in with regards to technology and development. Really, truly is amazing what you guys are doing. So, Baram, would you like to expand on that and share your future goals, personally and professionally as well?
Okay, so I personally, I would love to have a collaboration someday with Innotech if it's possible, because that would be amazing with Sahar University in general and the GDSC, of course. And to be honest, for now, I don't think we have like any uh, goals for now, because my year is almost done for like the leadership. So yeah, will be I will for sure have some goals for the other lead that will be joining, because I'll be leaving all the let's say goal making for the upcoming lead.
Great. Thank you, Madam. You've both shared what your goals are with regards to your own communities. But I'd like to ask this question again. Personally, as an individual in the industry, what are your goals and how do you see yourself progressing in the future? What would you like to do and how would you like to contribute to Oman as a country and as an individual? Mr. Othman?
So that's for me.
Yes.
As an individual, so I used to work in oil and gas for a while. I worked for 3 years in Schlumberger, and I have seen many talents graduate from universities, really talented people in electronics, in robotics, in programming, and they end up doing something not related to what they studied or what they are talented at. So they get paid really well at oil and gas. Yes, that's a good thing. The bad thing is that they lose those skills. So Oman lost hundreds and thousands of skilled people this way. So my contribution is that by making Inotech, so right now we are hiring 23 talented people, and we tend to hire more people, is to give the chance for those skilled people to use those skills, what they are passionate about, what they are really good about in the technology, instead of doing something not related to what they are skilled just to get a salary. So this way we contribute. It is a small contribution, but I think it will have a big impact in the long term.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Now I'll mention what I'd like to contribute. To be honest, like I mentioned that already, my journey with GDSC is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean I'll be somehow like not part of the Google community. I'll still be part of women tech makers or Google developer groups. Who knows, maybe both. Anyway, so I have a goal in mind that I'd like to gather a really big number of students, graduates, like literally everyone who's interested in tech, and to like have sit down like groups, and we can study together some certain projects. We can help in improving the community in Oman. Uh, my main aim is to go with tech, either like mobile applications, machine learning, like anything related to deep learning, whatever they're interested in. And somehow we will be able to maybe improve the community, spread awareness on how to use tech. It could be many different ways to help the community in general. So let's say that's one of my personal contributions that I'm willing to take in the near future after I'm done with university.
Amazing. Thank you, Maram, for sharing that. It's truly an honor to be here with both of you guys, with having such an incredible passion for what you do and sharing that with others in ways that could help them grow and thrive as well. It really what I see here, the common denominator between Google Developer Student Clubs and Innotech, and I believe the SMEs and startups and companies in Oman, is to be one of the first and to connect these talented people together and encourage them to thrive in technology and in ways that this country hasn't seen before in with local talent. So that's also leading to the fourth industrial revolution, and as Maram has mentioned, the solution challenge, um, where we really encourage everyone to create solutions that are related to solving one of the sustainable development goals. And one incredible thing that I've found with Inatech is that uh, they really are one of the pioneers to start this movement for youth and SMEs and entrepreneurs to uh, support local businesses and to support young and local talent. And I think it's amazing that we're doing that as well in GDSC. So, for the last comments, and if there are any questions that you'd like to send us in the comments here, we'd be happy to answer them. But as an ending part, I'd like to ask Mr. Othman, what would your advice be to aspiring entrepreneurs or people who are just getting started with their own businesses? And how would you encourage them and keep them working towards their goals?
I think what I can say is that they need to start with the end in mind. That's the best advice I can give. Is that when you have a good vision, when you have this long-term vision, no matter how difficult is your path, no matter how many challenges you have, this will help you a lot in your dark days. So, again, when we started Innotek, we had many challenges in the first few years, especially. And what kept us going is that we had this big vision or the moonshot, and we knew that no matter how difficult it is, we will make it happen. So it helps a lot to have this vision. It helps a lot to have co-founders with the same vision, co-founders who are willing to invest their money, their time, their efforts. It helps a lot. I think if I started this thing alone, myself, maybe at some point I would just give up. But thanks to having co-founders really passionate, we help each other. So whenever there's any challenge, you are not alone. You have co-founders right next to your right hand and left hand. So these are my advices. Think big, have the vision, keep fighting, have the right co-founders, and it is just a matter of time until you make it happen.
Thank you so much for your wise words, Mr. Othman. Truly, it's important for you to start with an end in mind. I think that's something that we can take away from this whole session. So before we close, I'd like to say that really resonates with how Google Developer Student Clubs are, which is having that end goal in mind to help our young students and our young talent to get into technology and uh, inspire them to inspire others as well. So I believe having that same community, surrounding yourself with the right people, like minded people to be with you, is really important. But if you'd like to impart your advice on the future GDSC leads, and what would you give as an advice for them to remember as they go through their journey as a GDSC lead, to keep remembering every time they feel discouraged?
I just want to tell them that you're going to be under pressure a lot, like organizing events, going through uh, building the slides and information, and, you know, working hard is going to pay off everything. Like, I'm not sure if that even makes sense, but you're gonna be pressured a lot, but believe me, at the end of the day or at the end of the year, this is all gonna be worth it, because you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, oh wow, I did all that. I never even imagined I'll be doing sessions, like this much of sessions, and I wouldn't even know that my passion for IT in general would increase to like higher levels, and I'll be motivated to improve myself even more. So yeah, I'm sure you're gonna go through, sometimes you're gonna feel like demotivated, you want to give up, you hate being there, but it's all gonna pay off, I'm sure. And yeah, just take a shot, try to apply, and hopefully you'll be one of the top leads and you'll do great, I'm sure. And that's it.
Thank you, Madam, for such inspiring words to our audience and our future GDSC leads. We have someone from Egypt in the chat. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us at the end of our session as well. So I'd like to close this session by thanking our panelists for being here with us today and for sharing their community's vision and how it lines up with Oman's vision in the near future, next 20 or so years. I hope to see you all thrive and continue to be inspirational to your communities and to uh, really be one of the key people, or at least part of that community, towards this incredible goal of having different industries working together to raise Oman's economy and its prestige. So, thank you guys for joining us today. If you'd like to go through our talk, it is recorded for everyone to see in GDG Mana channel. For those of you who joined late, thank you for being here with us. GDSC with GDSC and Innotech in this session. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you and good night.